Welcome back to Proverbial Insights, and this week we're doing chapter 26 of the book of Proverbs. And the verses that really caught my attention were verses 4 and 5. And it says, "Do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you also be like him." Verse 5 says, "Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes." These two verses were confusing to me the first time that I read them. Ask God to help me to understand them. There was also a devotional app that I use that is called Bible Chat, and that one I was able to ask, and it helped me really understand what it meant. So basically, the first verse, what it says, and it's that second sentence that always does the contrast with the proverb, right? So it says, "Lest you also be like him." Says, "Do not answer, lest you also be like him." So these are the times when somebody's acting foolish, acting on a pit of rage, acting just because either they're angry, whether they're frustrated, they're hurt, they're sad, and this is they're acting on impulses based on the emotions, and you end up go ahead and just reacting to that, and you end up looking just as foolish as they do. And the way that you know that is because then you end up feeling sad, you end up feeling guilt, you end up feeling shame because you're like, man, I acted like such a fool. I said what I shouldn't have said. Okay, and then the second part is when it says, "Answer a fool, lest he be wise in his own eyes." This one, what it means is that you're going to answer someone, but you're going to answer them with the intent of showing him the error in his ways. And I'm saying he, him, she, okay, showing the person the error of their ways, okay? So in this sense, we are to ask God for guidance, right, and wisdom. In the mornings, before you speak to anyone, you speak to God, and you ask God to guide you, to give you the wisdom that you need, to give you the words to be able to speak correctly to people, to help you with to navigate any situations that will happen that day, any difficult situations that you'll have to encounter, to help you deal with them. And that's exactly what this means. So when these predicaments come up, God is going to give you the discernment that you need to see whether you answer or you don't. And when you answer, that is words that are going to come, that are going to be correct before God's eyes, and it's going to be pleasing. And the result, when you answer according to the wisdom that God gives you, the result is going to be that the person is going to notice the error of their ways, and not that they feel guilt or shame or they feel despised. No, it's that they're going to notice the errors of their ways, because there's a difference between earthly wisdom and heavenly wisdom. Give me a chance. So if you go to James chapter 3 verse 17, it says, "But the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, then peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere." That's what I mean. It's not earthly wisdom, but is heavenly wisdom, and it's pure. So when you actually answer in those situations and you're showing the person the errors in the way that they're thinking and the error of their ways, then that person actually feels convicted. Actually, that person will think and say, wow, you're right. Because the words that you're talking, the words that you're using are words that God is giving you and guiding you for you to be able to talk to that person, for them to realize that they're wrong, right? That they're in the wrong. At that moment, that person might feel a bit offended, but that person is going to realize, like, wait a minute, no, I am doing this wrong. And that person will apologize, and you'll see everything will come to peace and everything will subside. But that's where we need to make sure that we are spending that morning time with God, giving him our dedicated time to be able to make sure that we're in contact with God in the mornings, before we speak to anybody else, that we have spoken to God, and he's going to guide you to navigate these difficult situations. And that way you don't end up feeling like a fool because you answered when you weren't supposed to. Better yet, that you feel proud of yourself with the way that you responded, whether it was that the Holy Spirit kept your mouth shut, or whether it's that the Holy Spirit guided you to say the correct words. All right. Well, God bless you. See you next week for chapter 27.